Good morning. Let's not mention the England match, but let's mention the fighting abilities of Novak Djokovic and this new technique of averaging down. Now, I'm going to be working on this in the new season because yet again, we've got a match where Alcaraz won in 3 sets, but I still make it a £70
This market has been suspended.
profit. How on earth does that happen? Well, you've got the clues on the right-hand side here. Laying Alcaraz at 1.03, 1.01, 1.02. I showed you this earlier when I backed Novak at 5.1 originally. Then I topped it up by laying Alcaraz at 1.1, 1.09. What this does, even with a small move, you can see from 1.1 up to 1.17, you can actually get out of this with a break even instead of a £59 red. This is the problematic part of this strategy. It's the increased liability. Now, we can solve this problem by our initial stake being half what it was previously, and the rest of the stake used to top up, so to speak, at 1.3, 1.01 and lower. And again, look at the odds movement. You only need a little odds move, relatively speaking. He's still a 1 to 10 favourite, but you're making 70 quid. Because I backed at 5.1 originally for Novak, but I laid Alcaraz at 1.1, 1.09 and a whole raft at 1.2, 1.02, 1.01. Novak was backable at 200s plus. Look at the odds swing downwards. The reason for this? Well, you just can't discount Djokovic. This is backs against the wall stuff. This is where you make your big money. It's all over. It's all over. It's the Alcaraz serve for the game at 5-4. It's 40 love. It's all over. That's where I was getting all of those 1.01s for Alcaraz. It stayed at 1.01 here. It stayed at 1.01 here. And it stayed at 1.01 here, which is ridiculous. It looks like a long way back, but this is Novak Djokovic. Boom. Breaks the point. Quite outstanding. Let's talk about getting out of jail. 3 match points staved off. That's where you get that turnaround. 1.01 up to 1.13, I think it was at one point. Outstanding from Novak, bringing it to a tiebreaker, but I was out. I was out when it got here. That's the beauty of this averaging. You saw with Bodo Glimt the same eventuality. We lost the play, but we profited. So that's just something for you to think about. This is the Bodo Glimt one, by the way. Still made a profit here, but they lost the match 2-1. Why? I backed them at 12.5 again, 2-0 down. And I laid Sandefjord at 1.34, 2-0 down, which I thought was outstanding. That's incredibly short for a side who's not kept a clean sheet this season, and the Bodo Glimt, who scoring 13 of 17 goals away from home. Get that 2-1, and without the trade actually being profitable, i.e. they're 2-1 down. So they're not even winning, Bodo Glimt, but you're winning £54. So it's something that I'll bring to your attention, and I'll try to figure out a way that we can do this. Maybe have an averaging stake, which would be my usual stake of 40, for example. Your opening gambit would be 20. Now, the problem with that is, if it doesn't go to 2-0, you're going to make a very small return if you get the equaliser. But something to think about. The negative is quite simply the increased liability. Football-wise, I actually fell asleep. I can't believe it. I woke up at 10:15 UK time. which is 4 a.m. Thai time, and it all passed me by. Oh, man. Well, Iñaki Williams scoring initially for the Spaniards. As has been the case throughout the tournament, England do equalise, so that was a possible angle in second half, as was a lay the draw second half. But I did give you the back 0-0 pre-match, and if it gets to 0-0 at half-time, cash out. That was something I mentioned yesterday. Cole Palmer equaliser. This is gutting, isn't it? 4 minutes from the end. Oyarzabal. Oh, man. Bringing on Tony a little bit too late. So a real pity there. And that was the substitution, Oyarzabal getting the winner. Oh. Elsewhere. And it was a really poor day, to be honest. Inter Turku against newly promoted Akanas. Job done there. Lati against Dulu. Didn't have a strong opinion of that one. Djurgården just limping across the line. Another short price favourite. Not performing like a short price. The market has got these pretty much wrong during the Euros and the comeback from the Euros. Häcken against Elfsborg. Flirting with the Desmond Tutu here. 48th minute. I thought that would have been a possible play, and indeed it proved its worth for Yusuf, but I wouldn't have foreseen. I'm not Mystic Meg. I wouldn't have foreseen this. 3-3, 3-4, 3-5. Unbelievable, Jeff. But this is where you make the big money. Like Novak Djokovic at the end, when all seems doomed. Captain Mannering get involved. Brommer and Kalmar. Västerås and Norrköping, arguable this bottom two clash. Västerås did deserve the win. But typical of bottom two clash, we get a draw. Magnus Magnusson masterminded the goal in the 90th minute. Tennis today. Well, we're returning all over the world now. Cameron Norrie, a nice break in Bastard, Sweden. The Bastard. Kotov and Garin, Corey Norrie, and Kovalik in Bastard. Sweden. This is clay, but the next Grand Slam is outdoor hard, I think, in the US. So this is a strange clay court part of the season. Foggy had an excellent Wimbledon, something like his old self. So I don't normally go outside of Grand Slams for tennis trading, but I'm sure there might be an angle or two somewhere, particularly if they're doing previews. I like Foggy. His form coming out of the Wimbledon could see him carry on through. Struff, far better on grass, but he's an excellent player. So some familiar names. Dominic Thiem has been out longer than Darren Anderson, so he's not someone you can rely upon. Again, the clay season continues. Kurundulu from South America. Watch out for South Americans on clay. They seem to be grown up on it. Maxwell Martyra. So some familiar names, but I'm probably not going to be doing any tennis trading now. As you can see, we've got some US tennis, but surprised to see this isn't on outdoor hard just yet. But we've got the end of September, I think, for that. The ladies, don't know many of these players at all, I'm afraid. My gap in knowledge of ladies tennis is very bad. Palermo, Muchova, familiar name, but outside of Grand Slam tennis, I'm like a kid in the deep end without armbands. It's not something I've consistently tried tennis trading outside of the Grand Slams, or at least the pre-Grand Slam tournaments. We're not getting any pre-US Open Grand Slam tournaments just yet, are we? We've got clay. That's not even the right surface. Tennis today, football today. Hacker against Ilves. Only 4 defeats for Hacker. Unbeaten 6 at home. That might see them favoured, but they're not even favourite today. 5-0 loss for Hacker in head-to-head. Only 3 defeats for Ilves. They're unbeaten in 6 away, scored in the last 12. So you'd be favouring Ilves, I think, on that slight form there. Unbeaten in 6 away, scoring in 12. So don't forget, they've got a goal in them. AIK and Helmstadt, lay any draw. These two are avoiding draws. Simple as that. Both teams have scored in AIK's last 7 matches. And I'll just distinguish the form for you. So anything underneath the bold is the form for that particular team. So Halmstad's form, they're beating teams above AIK's position in the league at home, so that favours them. But AIK are actual favourite here. Hammarby and Gothenburg. Hammarby's home form is excellent. All wins bar a single defeat. Will stand them in good stead. IFK have not played the top 6 away, but they've got a pretty poor record outside the top 6 away. So the inference is that they're going to be struggling today. That would be one of the most readable matches today, I think. Hammarby, given their excellent home form. Lay any late draw here. That would be the standout neutral play. Hacker and Ilves, don't trust this one at all. These two are losing far too frequently. That's it for me. Normally a day off today. But as I say, do read the e-letter and watch the video. We discuss what to look for or prepare for with this new football season. So the e-letter and video is here. A simple précis for you. It's all stuff you've heard before if you're a long-term member. New managers, of course, can change teams instantly. We've seen that new Crystal Palace manager, what he did back end of last season was just outstanding. Palace is suddenly scoring, beating big names, scoring 3 goals. But now they're getting plundered. I think one of the big guns in Palace has been already bought by another team. So new managers. Who have we got? Arnie Pie in the Sky Slot at Liverpool. How's he going to perform? Particularly in playing a newly promoted side in Ipswich in their opener. Newly promoted sides could struggle. Paul Dunwoody did a brilliant spreadsheet for us last year. It was excellent. And it just brings this to your attention. Newly promoted and newly relegated. Newly promoted, why? They could struggle. Newly relegated, why? Well, I'll show you why. Newly relegated teams in the Championship. Tell me what you see here based on last year. Drum roll, please. Where are the newly relegated sides in this particular results table? I'll tell you. Here, and here. I think it was Leeds, was relegated? I can't remember. But 2 of them, Leicester and Southampton. I think it was Leeds, wasn't it? So that's what I'm talking about, newly relegated. Newly relegated could dominate. We saw it with Heracles, saw it with PEC Zwolle in the Dutch First Division. We saw it in that famous season with Newcastle under Chris Hughton in the English Championship. Bossed it. And it just gives you a decent trading angle, doesn't it? New players in and out. Transfermarkt.com is a pretty decent website for you to get to know. And it will give you a list of transfers and rumours. That's a very big fish. Well done. So the latest transfers go here. Oh, this looks like a German-based website, so don't mention the war. I mentioned it once, but I think I got away with it. Okay. So have a look round, and you can also get it at uk.soccerway.com in the transfer section if you click on one particular team. That's our preparation for the new season. Normally a day off for me today, and it's a typical Monday coupon, isn't it? And as far as the tennis is concerned, don't expect much from me today. But I will, out of interest, do some retrospective trading, just looking to see how this lot that I've starred performed. This was a technique I started employing, and I think it works very well. You focus on matches and teams and players that you feel are readable and reliable. When I see an Australian flag and a favourite, well, these are Aussies, they go on. They're like Duracell bunnies, just go on forever. So that would be of interest tomorrow in tomorrow's video. Have a great day today. Unlikely to hear from me today, but you never know. It's not the most compelling set of fixtures, but we are very, very near to the start of the new season. 1 month from now, the English Premier League will be beginning. Have a great day.